Hello, hello, hello. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you very much for tuning into PTV World. You watching World this morning alongside my very fantastic, very intelligent, and an amazing co-host, Ms. Shiza Hashmi. And I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. And we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you guys are ready to kickstart your day with us. How are you, Shiza?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking, Shazad. How have you been doing? And now we're almost nearing the end of the week as well. Are you really excited to enter the weekend? Well, I am.
For a person like me, it's very different, because then there are some weeks where you're working, through the day, through the nights as well, and then you really want to rest yourself, so you're looking forward to a weekend. But this week, yes, I've rested a bit and I've worked a bit as well, so I'm fine with working over this weekend as well, and inshallah, I will be working as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this is something which I want to reiterate, and that is that, if you have a goal in your mind, make sure that every single day is a single step towards your goal. Please make sure to do so. What about you, Shiza?
What about me in terms of achieving the goal?
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like you and I share the same attitude as well. Probably. Well, I have said this before as well on the show too. We love doing this job. We love waking up early in the morning, sharing our mornings with you, our energies, and our love with you, our information with you.
Yeah.
So just to begin on a lighter note, Shazad, I remember you telling me this year that you were supposed to go out for a vacation, and I know that you do actually indulge a lot in traveling.
Yep.
Right? And how far along are you in terms of that plan of yours?
I mean, thank God that I've been immunized as well. I got the
Alhamdulillah.
vaccine, shukr alhamdulillah,
Same
so
here.
I'm definitely looking forward to traveling as soon as possible. But not just that, there's always a reason behind traveling, Shiza. So, going to different countries, I've always thought that, okay, spending 6 months in a university, there might not be, there's no comparison in between.
Okay.
But yeah, when you travel, you learn a lot. And when you go to other countries, you're in conversation with people from that region as well. You get to share your stories. They get to share their stories as well. You find cultural similarities, and that's something so wonderful and amazing.
Absolutely.
Having friends all over the world is something which I dream.
And this sounds really good. Just listening to it actually sounds really good. Shazad, ever since we were children, we have been hearing that now we live in a global village, right?
Yep.
And it is, of course, now the 21st century. And by global village, we actually literally mean we are connected by one way or another.
True.
Even if we're talking about culture that is specific to our land, it becomes transnational in a way that even if you go to, well, America for that matter, you will find a piece of Pakistani culture, right?
Obviously.
And I think Pakistan now has become sort of a melting hot pot of all the cultures only because it's so welcoming and so warm as well. I think it has opened its border to all the people to come in and enjoy. We're really, really open to the idea of building relationships with, well, everyone around the corner of the world as well. And especially, I feel like we learn a lot, we love to be associated with, and we love to be in relationship with our, well, European brethren.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it's a surprise for everybody who's out there in 46 different countries. I think that so far within this month, or probably this the previous one, or the previous before that as well. I think that today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be in conversation with somebody whom we have been looking forward to for a longer period of time. Finally, she had time on her clock as well, so which is why she's made time. She's over here with us, and we will be having a heart-to-heart conversation with her because that's what we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the Ambassador of the European Union to Pakistan, Her Excellencies Mrs. Androulla Kaminara. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Welcome.
Alaikum salam. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much for joining us, and we wanted to have you for a longer period of time. But finally, I think it's our pleasure to have you over here as well.
My pleasure
and
too.
the best part is that you are the first ever female ambassador to Pakistan as well, which we obviously feel great that you're paving way for other female colleagues as well. But not just that. I think to get started with the conversation, let's talk about how the relationship in between Pakistan and European Union has evolved over the years, because you've been here from, I believe, 1988 or 87 somewhere.
We first started relationships in 1988.
Yes.
I personally have been here since September 2019.
Yeah.
We can say that the relationships have been becoming stronger and deeper with Pakistan. It's a relationship of partnership. 2 years ago, in fact, at the end of June, there is the anniversary of the signing of the Strategic Engagement Plan, which is a roadmap between what has been agreed between Pakistan and the EU for the years ahead. And it encompasses a lot of different areas, from peace and security, human rights, freedom, democracy, but also newer, more, let's say, topical areas such as climate change, science and technology, education. So it started focusing on just a few areas. It's expanded and it has become much, much deeper. Wow. It's a partnership now, and it's a partnership that I think is very valuable both to the EU, but I also hope for Pakistan.
True.
Of course, definitely so. In fact, I was going to ask you about some of the key areas that you are focusing on. You did tell us lightly. I want you to go in detail, please, and especially ever since you were here. Well, you came in 2019, ever since the pandemic started.
Yes.
So I feel like the focus areas must have changed as well. Was it so?
Yes. For example, one of the areas that we have been working on and we continue to work on is development cooperation.
Oh, great.
The European Union spends about 100 million euros per year in aid, development cooperation aid in Pakistan. These are not loans, this is grants to Pakistan.
Oh, okay, brilliant.
Most of those are focusing on development of rural development, on vocational training to give young people possibilities for better jobs. Also issues of promoting rule of law and helping the modernization, let's say, of the national assemblies and the Senate.
Brilliant.
So after COVID, which was March 2019, we put together a package of aid of 150 million. Wow. Some of it was redirecting aid that was already existing to the areas where they were mostly affected by COVID-19, but also humanitarian aid to support from providing the necessary health equipment, protection equipment in various areas to in some cases even providing aid directly to the people that had no income in order for them to survive. Oh, wow. So there was a redirecting of some of the aid, and some of it was additional just to address the fact that there was a pandemic and emergency actions were needed.
Absolutely.
Wow, and it's
amazing.
wonderful. And you know, Shizab, whenever we speak about partnership, I think that's how partnership really needs to look as well. And we're truly thankful for the kind of services being rendered for Pakistan, and Pakistan aims to do so as well, you know, vis-a-vis. But now moving on, you know, so this is something which I personally feel as well, that, you know, that within this Asian region where we live, where Pakistan is, our homeland is, you know, for something such as European Union, when we talk about regional cooperation, I think that European Union has always made sure that, you know, that their backbone is to actually sustain that kind of success which they have achieved over the period of years and years of being together, and that harmony and that peace amongst all of the nations as well. How do you think, how can this probably be done, you know, in areas like Asia or elsewhere as well, and what will be the benefits which people are going to reap out of it? And then what's the main reason behind the success of European Union and such regional cooperation?
Okay. First of all, let me say that as partners, the partnership is mutually, in my view, beneficial. So, for example, on global issues with Pakistan, on issues of climate change, on issues, on certain issues within the UN system, we work together. So it's not, you know, just us providing aid and Pakistan passively accepting that. Everything we do here is in coordination with the government, but we also work on international issues, and many times we have also worked together on the same line. We, of course, do not agree on everything, but in partnership, you have the dialogue, you have the understanding, and you move forward together. So that's the thing I wanted to say. With respect to the European Union, we have to remember how the idea came about. I mean, we will be celebrating the anniversary, Europe Day. Officially, it's on the 9th of May, but we will be having a celebration in the next few days. And the idea of the European Union came out of Robert Schuman, who was the French foreign minister.
Yeah.
And at the end of 2 world wars, where European countries were devastated, the idea came to, let's work together. Let's try and limit the reasons why we should fight, and let's try and cooperate for the benefit of Europeans.
Yeah.
And in fact, this has been the path traveled since 1950 by the European Union. It has had its ups and downs, it has had its crises,
Yep.
but each time the member states have decided that they get more benefits from moving forward together than stepping out.
Absolutely.
And now we are a union of 27 member states,
True.
450 million people, and the prosperity in Europe and the trade that Europe has is well above the size of the population. So together,
Yeah.
let's say we punch bigger than what each individual put together.
Wow,
so
and-
Of course.
this is where we are.
That
It's
makes
wonderful,
sense.
and I think everybody kind of needs to learn from this as well. But I'm going to take you, back where you actually said that it's a partnership, and
Yes.
obviously, everything's done with cooperation, and then everybody gets to choose whether to say yes to whatever the offer is,
course,
or probably
of
no as well. And everybody needs to kind of put it in as well. The effort needs to be there. But when we speak about partnerships, and that too in the context of regional cooperation, I believe that it becomes a little difficult and challenging at times. Because there's so many member states as well, and then everybody coming together, deciding for the benefit of each other. So, one might feel at times that, okay, we may be left out. So how do we overcome such challenges in terms of regional cooperation?
But by at each point of difficulty,
Yeah.
taking a good close look, is the benefit more than the pain? And each time that those points of crisis have come along, the result was that each country decided that, maybe we're not getting fully what we wanted right now.
Yep.
But moving forward together is much better than stepping out. So this is where we are, and the prosperity of the European citizens proves that it has worked, and
That moving together is the way forward.
Yes, moving together is the way forward. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Definitely, and I feel like the success formula only in this collaboration is that the collaboration does not just limit itself to the military front, of course. There are so many factors that come in.
Yes, of course.
But now I'm going to take you back to where you spoke about Europe Day.
Yes.
One thing to mention, ladies and gentlemen, and this one is really coming out of my heart because I have massive respect for the fact that Her Excellency, you mentioned, Europe Day fell in the month of Ramadan, when each and every single Pakistani was observing fasts and whatnot, and it is a sacred month of us. So European Union actually held back from sort of celebrating it and holding a month back. Now we are finally going to celebrate it, but it's still COVID. So how are the celebrations going to be?
Okay. With respect to having it during Ramadan, I think it's an issue of respect
Of course, of
for the
course.
host country, and of course we celebrate with Pakistanis, so we need to take on board the cultural context and the religious context of the country. With respect to COVID, how to deal with the COVID pandemic, we would have loved to have had a physical celebration like we used to do in the past, with thousands of people joining, but we have to do that, take a responsible act on not creating events that spread COVID and follow the SOPs of the government. So what we have decided to do is focus on what the youth likes, which is music, and also the younger heart, I have to say, not just the youth.
True, true.
And musicians from Pakistan and musicians from Europe have worked very, very hard to co-create music.
Yeah.
So it will be a joint concert by Pakistani and European musicians.
So exciting.
From several EU member states, Czech Republic, Poland, Spain, Sweden, Denmark, and Pakistanis,
Of course.
producing music together. And this
Wow.
we hope that everybody would enjoy and will be broadcast live.
Yeah, and Shiza, you know what? You know, there's one thing which I'm going to recall over here because I just got nostalgic because I believe that 2 or 3 years ago, you know, it was me hosting the European Union's Day as well. You know,
Okay.
and it was happening in Shakapadiya, I think, the open air theatre. It was wonderful. Everybody was there. You know, there was a lot of eatery, there was a lot of music, and you know, everybody was having fun, and it felt great that you know that you actually have a day to celebrate a day where you all came together. So I
Right.
think that's wonderful. But not just that, you know, this time around, since it's COVID and we have spoken about it as well, so, you know, the entire concert will actually be streamed online, right?
Yes.
Am I right over here?
Yes, there would be. I mean, concert would be shown on
Yeah.
TV with all of these collaborative music being
Wow.
produced. So
And-
this anybody can enjoy, and I hope people would tune in to watch it.
Yeah, and
And-
people will certainly, after a few days, have to tune into PTV World as well to watch it as well.
That's what I was going to
exactly,
say.
exactly.
We're excited.
PTV happens to be the media partners for
Yeah.
this project as well. Really exciting. Now, I know we have spoken a lot about it. There are still questions left, actually, to learn even more about the culture of, you know, all the European countries and Pakistan coming together. But I want to focus on you being in Pakistan.
Okay.
How has it been so far?
Hugely exciting,
Yeah.
interesting, tough, heartwarming. So I'm loving being here, I have
Okay.
to say.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, I think
All of those things together.
Together, it's mango season. Do you enjoy that?
Do not talk about. I have a weakness for mangoes, and
Oh, I wish I knew.
Yes, in fact, last year, while I was attacking a particular mango, somebody took a photograph, and people could see how much I love mangoes. Let's put it that way. Yes.
and I think it's on your Twitter as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But now, Your Excellency, what I probably want to move forward with is that you know, it's been more than 1.5 years that you've actually been over here in Pakistan. And before the program, we were in conversation. You said that you know, once you touched down, so in the first 60 or 70 days, you actually went to every other province of Pakistan.
Yes.
And then coming down to the point where you said that you know that the West really needs to know how Pakistani people are. So today we're actually going to request you to let everybody know how Pakistani people are.
Well, the things that have touched me more over the last year is going into even the most remote and poor village, because I visit the projects that we do to talk to the people and actually see what they think about, and having some such warm reception. People that don't have any wealth or anything to share, but nonetheless, the little they have, with open hearts, saying, you know, share it with you, and that is precious.
So sweet.
And I don't think the West or the rest of the world understands that about Pakistan, and I don't think that, let's say, it has been given justice to the people of Pakistan. I think any potential tourist, knowing that, will be more likely to come here, more likely to feel at ease here, and that's probably what they would take back with them. Although Pakistan has the most amazing scenery, I've seen from beautiful mountains to lakes to also
Deserts.
so much cultural and historical monuments. I think the thing that is more precious is that, and people don't know it, and somehow I think you have to promote it, or
And we're trying a
the
level best.
unexpected side of Pakistan.
Wow.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you for being so kind with your words. This was really sweet of you. This is the truth?
this
Okay,
is the
we'll take
truth.
that
No,
as the
no,
truth.
it's
Well, it was,
unfortunately,
You
say
feel
what
that,
I
you
mean.
feel that.
I say what I mean, so I
Wow.
mean it.
that's really nice of you. But now, you know, because of the incumbent government, we are really working on improving the tourism sector here, like you mentioned. How do you see Pakistan's tourism in the coming years? Do you think a lot of people should be attracted to it?
The prospects are the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I mean, you have from seas to mountains to also people that are interested in doing all sorts of sports. So the sky's the limit. I think potentially work needs still to be done, because if somebody's coming, let's say a European will be coming here, it's a big distance. So they will, even if they're attracted, let's say, by hiking, they will probably want to also do some historical visits.
Yes.
They will also want to do some other cultural visits. So bringing it on all together is important. You have 6 World Heritage Sites.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see them all. I haven't seen them all yet.
Okay.
But when I go there, I realize that, like in any other tourist, I want to buy a book about the history of that place. I want to buy some souvenirs to send to friends about that place.
Yeah.
These types of things do not exist or are not easily accessible.
Right.
And that is things that need to be developed in order to make sure that others come here.
Interesting anecdote. I
Exactly.
never thought of that.
And, I think I can relate with that as well, because, once you go to probably Europe, you actually want an Eiffel Tower and you bring it back home.
Right.
For your friends, and that's the place you visit. So and it is a part of cottage industry, ladies and gentlemen, where people actually survive on this as well, and that they do very well. Ma'am, building up on that, because you've been to Africa, you've been to Latin America, you've been to Asia, now Pakistan, obviously part of Asia. Then not just that, so this is where you've been more than 120 countries.
That's right.
And now, when we were going through your profile, which is very extensive and very informative at the same time as well. And once you look at it, you feel like as if, I could have done better. That's how I felt after reading that. But, when we talk about the fields you worked in is, it's social development, small and medium enterprises, and economy.
Yes.
Which I think one way or the other is linked as well. So when we talk about tourism, we talk about cultural prospects or cultural exchange programs. How do you think that this partnership can actually go beyond where we are as of now?
Good question.
In fact, one of the areas for the new programming cycle of development cooperation that we are currently designing is to look at agriculture and to look at value chains.
True.
And to promote, better products, products that can be exported more easily. But also linked to that, there is also the possibility to have agrotourism in certain of these areas. But the more you develop, the more you have some basic infrastructure, the more you're also able to attract potential tourists that need to or would like to go into those areas. So this is all interlinked.
Yeah.
It's not just, you don't go in just to develop tourism, because you need also the local infrastructure to be better.
True.
You will need, most people would need some sort of
Technological interventions for that matter.
exactly.
Yeah.
Access to technology, or some restaurants to be there in order to taste the fantastic Pakistani food. These types of things, bringing it all together. So in what we're looking at is to develop areas, particularly rural areas, that have a potential, but not just on the main aspect, which is agriculture, but also the other things that can piggyback on that development to bring people here.
Yeah, and that's
really
wonderful. I think I totally agree with what you've actually said as well. But now I'm going to bring things from farm to fork.
Okay.
Because you've been in Pakistan for a longer period of time. Usually, whenever we have somebody from outside Pakistan, we would ask them this question right towards the end of the segment as well. So, the kind of cuisines you've tried over here. Would you like to name something?
Your favorite ones, probably.
Yes, I'm a biryani fan.
Okay. We have a biryani fan here.
Yes, and when I go to the different provinces, they always ask which one do you prefer, but I'm not that much of an expert.
So is it mutton or beef or chicken?
Yes, I like all three.
Brilliant.
I like a lot of the vegetable dishes, the dal dishes, and
something like
paneer,
palak paneer.
Palak paneer.
Palak paneer. Yes,
yes.
I love that.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you love the fruits, you love the hospitality, and you love the food over here, and you've been to different places. And what you think is that people really need to come down over here, and we need to project the right image as well, which we are trying. We are doing so as well, and the incumbent government is doing so as well. But thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
If you have anything to say towards the end of the program, that's your camera. Say to 46 different countries, there are people out there listening to you right now.
EU Pakistan dosti.
Wow. Zindabad. Zindabad.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. And I feel like towards the end, I want to claim that you are now part Pakistani as well because of the palette you have achieved with biryani and whatnot. So thanks for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Right now, we're headed out to a very short break. We'll be back with yet another exciting segment. Stay tuned to find out.
That too about asking questions. We ask a lot of questions. Is it right or wrong? Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World this morning alongside the one and only Miss Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. Earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we were very lucky that we were actually in conversation with the ambassador to Pakistan for the European Union, ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Miss Androulla Kaminara, and we kind of spoke about quite a lot of things. And towards the end, yes, she told us that she loved biryani, made with beef, made with mutton, or made with chicken. She loved every bit of it, and she loves mangoes from Pakistan. Wonderful.
I feel like, Shahzad, we were throwing a lot of questions, but I feel like while that is our job as well, it's our nature as well.
True.
Well, I want to take you back to when I was in my first grade. And so I happened to be one of those children who would probably understand late, and I would throw hundreds of thousands of questions at my teacher. And maybe at one point my fellow students would be bothered, of course, thinking, it's a basic question, why do you have to ask it? And one of the questions I clearly do remember was, I always thought we live inside the earth. Inside, because that's how you hear from people. Hum earth pe rehte hain, earth mein rehte hain, or something like that.
So you thought that there's actually an emergency exit out there somewhere as well?
Yeah. I didn't know if there was an exit, so I used to ask my teacher when we go out on a plane, or if a rocket goes out to space, doesn't it collide with the surface of the earth? And my teacher was so confused. She'd be like, apni mama se pooch ke aaye. So, similar questions would occur to me every other day. And I feel like if I would get very clear answers, or probably even a direction towards what they were trying to explain me, I would have developed a better personality.
Yeah,
it's a big thing to say, but I do feel that.
Yeah, I think that you have actually hit the nail on the head as well. But you know what I wanted to share, my part of the story is that I was always a slow learner in school.
Really? It's okay.
And I always had difficulty. I won't go to bed on time, and I will take my time to kind of open my eyes even while I was in the school.
Oh.
So, and every time I asked a question from my teacher, she would obviously kind of come back to me saying, you know what, you really need to wake up first and then I'll be answering your questions. And then, you know, there comes a time in my life where I actually didn't really ask any question whenever I was in the class as well. And then towards probably 6th or 7th grade, that's the time when I realized, hey, you know what, it's my right, I need to ask questions. And on average, ladies and gentlemen, a kid, you know, probably we're talking about 4 or 5 years old as well, ask 300 questions a day. So is asking questions a good thing? Is something which we'll be talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We're lucky that we've actually been joined by one of our very favorite scholars and a writer. He is Mr. Sabbah Uddin Saab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. You always look amazing, handsome, and fantastic early in the morning. We loved your energy. So is it okay to ask questions?
Thank you for your compliments, and it's a pleasure to be with you, Shaza and Shazad.
All right. So to begin with, well, yes, Shazad, your question of, is it okay
see,
to...
my question, that's what I was telling. You know, every time I asked a question, I never got answers for that.
I'm
so
so
is it okay to ask questions?
I think it's
There's
not
an
that
old
simple.
saying. There's an old saying. It says like, "Tell me, I will forget. Show me, I may remember. But involve me, I will understand, and I will remember also." So when we talk about asking questions, we relate to the involvement. We are trying to involve people into the process of learning.
Yeah.
And when we say process of learning, I'm not referring to the formal education, formal or informal. I'm referring to what the great Persian poet Sadi refers, growing old through learning. Pir sho biyamuz Sadi. So when you grow old and you try to learn more, and the questions become fundamental to it. And I think humans are the unique species because we are curious.
Yeah.
And I think we are the only species who ask questions. And this asking questions has led us to generation of new knowledge. And this asking question has brought us to the evolution stage where we are now.
Absolutely.
So I think asking questions is very important and fundamental.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And there are no red lines in questions. Even imagine the most sensitive topics where you don't want to ask questions. That is somebody's religion. But even the Creator himself encourages human to ask questions.
To ponder,
Yes, the Holy Quran says in Surah Yusuf, it translates like this, that Yusuf and his brothers, there are ayat, signs, miracles, wisdom, knowledge, guidance for those who ask questions. So you can ask any question you want.
Yeah.
Of course.
Wow.
Well, I think that was a beautiful sort of direction to it as well. But let's talk about, you know, being inquisitive and being curious. Where does it stem from? So we have sort of categorized it being a good thing, right? So where does it stem from? How does one become so curious and inquisitive in a personality?
You see,
Is it the upbringing?
the society as a whole contributes to it.
Okay.
The family, the school, and forgive me when I talk about education to all the people who are contributing in the field of education. What education system we follow is archaic,
Okay.
it's obsolete, it's textbook bound. And what family systems we follow, we discourage asking questions. We don't let people to ask questions, no matter how serious the issue is.
I think we've evolved from that, no?
Yes, but a time has come, unfortunately. A time has come. Now, these times are very challenging times because the 100,000 gigabytes information is floating all around you in clouds on internet. You have all the answers, but you do not know how to ask a question. We have never been able to teach our children how to ask a question.
Okay.
If you go to a youngster and says, "Hey, may I help you? Do you have an issue?" He will say, "No, I'm okay, I'm good." Because we have trained him in a way
Okay.
that he is now feeling contented in knowing what he knows. We are not going beyond the border to the unknown. We will go to the unknown territory when we ask questions.
Yeah.
And we have failed as a society to encourage this in our youth, in our children, that we discourage them in asking questions.
All right.
And that is absolutely brilliant because brilliant in saying so. Because I stand by it, Shazad, when we talk about a society we are growing up in, again, you and I are privileged. So maybe our house systems are in a way that we are open to discussions and everything. But in so many households, even, I think the dynamic between the children and the father, or especially between the daughters and the father, is such that a direct question is not in question. So even if you were to go out with your friends, or even if you were to plan an outing or something, you have to get it through your mom to your dad, because you
There's
know
a hierarchy.
yes, of course. There's no as such concept of throwing questions, right?
मैं दोस्त के साथ जा रही हूँ, Beta, have you asked your mom?
Exactly.
And if she says yes, the dad's going to say no. And if dad said yes, the mom's going to say no as well.
It's just one example.
But I kind of agree to it, because this is something which I've seen and witnessed growing over the years as well.
Okay.
But sir, just before we actually started, you said that, rather than focusing more on kids, we really need to talk about our youngsters and people like us, you and me as well. Now, when we talk about people like you and me, there's a very brief difference because, asking questions out of inquisitivity or curiosity is something different. But people have started to be doubtful and ask questions when they're very doubtful about something else or somebody else as well. So there's always a difference in asking a question. Asking a question to increase your knowledge is different. Asking a question to clear your doubts is different. So should we be asking questions in both the situations?
Isn't it
I
the
think,
same?
let me clear you by just
Sure.
telling you one thing.
Yeah.
The entire situation we are in,
Yeah.
the creation of mankind, the creation of Adam started with a question.
Yeah.
Imagine a creation like angels who are most obedient and subservient to Lord. They're asking questions. They're questioning the decision of Almighty that, Almighty Lord, you are creating a person who is going to create chaos on earth. So,
Right.
it starts with a question. And there's no blasphemy in it.
Yeah.
Questioning has always been encouraged. So, asking question, no matter it is to clear your doubt, no matter it is to gain a new knowledge,
Okay.
or going into some territory that the society says, no, you should not go there, it's okay. No question brings glory.
Yeah.
No question brings insult. It only brings knowledge and wisdom.
All right,
But,
that's wonderful.
I
but
have to answer you,
Yeah, okay, go
Shahzad,
ahead.
and of course you can maybe correct me, Mr. Sabbah. Even clearing doubts is gaining knowledge, isn't it?
I mean, it depends what kind of doubt you're clearing,
It's still gaining knowledge because-
I'll be honest over here because okay. So let me put it this way.
Let's
So-
dissect it.
Yeah, let me put it this way. So your space is going to end where my nose starts,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
people ask about different sorts of questions. Even being on television, there are a lot of people who follow us on our Instagram and Twitter. And they have very different questions to ask, which at times you're just ashamed to answer that, hey, you know what, how did you have the audacity to actually ask me such a question? So everybody, because you said that we really literally do not know how to ask questions, I think that's what I want to dig up on as well. So how should we ask questions? How do we instill this habit of asking questions in a wiser manner where the other person does not feel offended in answering the question and feels that he's been respected or she's been respected at the same time?
Let me add another word
Sure.
with the questioning.
Yeah.
Guided questioning.
Okay.
Okay.
Or being guided in finding the correct questions to find the answers.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
questioning has to be guided.
Yeah.
When we say inquisitiveness, when we say inquiry, when we say the questioning, it is not just in the wild space.
True.
Questioning means questioning about a specific thing,
Yeah.
to dig that out, to find what it is and how it is going to help you through the processes of your life. So questioning is supposed to support your knowledge and wisdom, build it so you sail through the processes of life. If some question, there is a word described in a hadith, ilman nafi'an, the knowledge that is beneficial, the knowledge that is useful. So the question should lead to a knowledge that is useful.
Brilliant, brilliant.
When I refer to saying that, the 100,000 gigabytes of information all around, then it doesn't make difference that, where the smallest of the frog lives. Knowledge is relevant, knowledge is useful, and some knowledge is not supposed to be stored.
All right.
It's not supposed
needs
to
to be
be.
shared.
You don't need to go after that.
Okay.
You only need that knowledge that helps you to sail through your life.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's the thing. I think this is getting really interesting and we're really
is.
short on time.
Yeah.
So when you talk about guided questions and only asking the questions which will add to your knowledge, this is now just lately happening that all the countries are sharing their information on UFOs. It did not. I know it's going to get interesting, but it did not happen before. I mean, it was always something related to the United States of America and them having all the intel on it. But now all the countries who might have witnessed something similar are sharing their information.
And it's just because, that somebody else has actually witnessed it, so they're asking for information.
Yes. So here's the thing. Even in this case, do we only need to go after the information that we need while we know that some things must be suppressed?
Nothing is supposed to, I will differ. Nothing is supposed to be suppressed.
Okay.
There's edge of everything. We have drawn a border and drawn an edge. There is edge of our knowledge. To go beyond that, we have to ask anything. We have to inquire anything.
But to whom?
But there was a time when people used to execute people who used to say the earth is revolving around the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were executed. People were like Socrates, they were forced to, drink
Change their
poison.
beliefs, yes.
And when they were doing so, they said, I can't help this earth is going around the sun. I can't change it, but okay. You see, so there are things that need to be understood. For example, there's a phenomenon of UFOs, you said.
Yeah.
Or what about the black holes?
Right, right.
So there's a limit to our knowledge.
Yes, of
To
course.
break that limit, we need to question more and more and more. And then new doors will open to us.
Okay.
And I think there is nothing, we should not draw any red line that we should not ask about this. You can ask anything, and even about the most sensitive topics like your religion, because everything you do, you practice as a religion, it has to be understood, it has to be,
Definitely.
taken as such.
I 100%
100%
agree to that, because this is something which I've actually followed for the last 10 years. It's been a decade as well. That what kind of faith you believe in if you cannot even ask a question about it. So I think that that the questioning needs to be there. But sir, building upon that, since we are talking about kids and youngsters as well and how to instill this habit of asking questions, recently we have seen this latest trend where kids at times look like parents. When they ask questions from their parents, Hanji, where are you going? Why are you going at this time? This is very odd. And this is something which we have never seen, while we were growing up. For us, it was so hard to kind of inquire where our father was going or mother was going.
Right.
They're like, "Tumhe kya masla hai?" You just stay quiet. So I think that now since we're talking about it, how do you see kids literally dictating the household and making sure, because we as parents would always love to give leverage to our kids and ask whatever they want to ask, and even if it's about some body parts, it's about body shaming, it's about bad
Definitely.
touch, good touch, everything. We would love to kind of have a conversation with our kids, because we understand the importance of asking questions rather than somebody else answering them or all of those questions. I think we should do that. So how do we do it more? How do we inculcate this habit within our own society? And that not just the father or mother or chachu or uncle or somebody answering it. In fact, anybody on the street, because this is something which I've realized. So I have this habit of saying Assalamu alaikum to everybody, and because it's sunnah in the first place. So half of the time, to all the men, when I say Assalamu alaikum, I will get a reply back, Wa alaikum assalam. But if it's a woman walking by, or probably in the lift or somewhere, they just do not answer. They really do not have this feeling of replying back to an Assalamu alaikum if it comes from a stranger. So, so how do you think that in a situation like this, we can actually be posing questions to somebody when they're not replying to Assalamu alaikum?
When a child is born, he tries to feel with the five senses, and gradually he starts to crawl, and then he looks at even odd things, even this minor insects, he will try to pick it up and he will try to taste it.
Yeah, that's true.
And when we grow up, then
cute.
two senses more, add to it. There is the sixth sense and then the common sense.
Well, we hope so.
and normally we lack the common sense.
Yeah.
Why people don't answer to you due to the lack of the seventh, common sense.
Okay.
Everything thrown to you is supposed to be answered. And when we talk about the children asking questions from their parents, now this is not the questioning, They don't need to question you. They just observe you.
Yeah.
It's enough for them to feel the environment with the five senses, and then they make their own judgment about you. So if they ask you, it's goodness on their part. They're asking you, and then it's your part to clarify to them. But not clarifying, I think it will not help. And I think we should encourage the children to ask.
We try.
Yes, but Shahzad, I'm going to take your question further, where he asked if children should be inquiring parents and vice versa as well. Do you think doing so, inculcating the ease or the environment of questioning, will actually change the family systems for good?
I think we need to step out of the existing stereotyping of a family.
Okay, what's that?
We need to let our young ones ask, and we need to look. Now it's one-way communication now.
Yes.
Elders are asking the young ones, but young ones are not allowed to,
Ask back,
So
yes.
where is the equality? Where is the parity in the system?
True.
So we have to bring it like it's fair for me to ask my daughter about her well-being, about her feeling, about her emotion, what she feels, and it's okay for her to question me, question me about my feelings and my,
See, sir, the topic is so interesting that we cannot decide that who's actually going to pose the next question as well. And we're full of questions, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe that it is because of our parents that they actually gave us this liberty while we were growing up that we can ask anything.
That is
but
true.
now, sir, you know, I think that the most important aspect of asking questions, I know that, okay, you know, so far we have figured out it's good to ask questions to kind of gain knowledge, to clear your doubts. And in every sense, it's wonderful to ask questions. But now what I want to kind of talk about is that, you know, that the person who's actually asking a question should actually know who to ask it from. You know, because this is something which we miss out on. You know, if I'm going to go back to my place and I'm going to be in conversation with my mom and I'll be like, hey, you know, do you know anything about UFOs? I believe that that will be a very irrelevant question, and it will be a mistake on my behalf, you know, that I'm not making a conversation according to what she kind of, the knowledge she possesses. So imagine that, you know, people not being smart enough to pose the question to the right person, because we ask so many questions from Google, but we are not going to ask the expert on it.
Interesting.
I agree. We have to say, like, not the question but the source.
Yeah.
People have to learn to tap the source from where the answer is, you know, required to come. So we have to put this, when I say guided questioning, so the questions are supposed to be guided by an elder one, may it be a teacher, may it be a parent. So the questions are supposed to be guided to the particular source from where the answer will come. So I agree with you in your understanding, and you're saying that we have to guide our children and teach them about asking questions from the relevant sources, from the relevant people, from the you know, the relevant segments in the society.
Wow.
I agree to that.
And answering all the questions, you know, you kind of took away your smile from us as well, and from our audiences. You know, we wanted you to smile. You know, you've got a lovely smile, sir.
It's a compliment. Thank you.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
so
joining
much.
us. It's always wonderful to have you, and you're one of the most handsome guests we've ever had on our studio.
Well, I
And more than
appreciate
that, so well informed as well. So
I
thank you. Shahzad, you know, I think I came across something really interesting during this discussion, and that is how we sort of, you know, even you know, not even deliberately sort of shape the family systems, where Mr. Sabbah Uddin said that if you ask your children questions, so for example, if you know, I'm comfortable asking my children, how do you feel? Why are you sad? Why are you low? What went on with you in school? Blah, blah, blah. You know, everything and anything.
You, right?
Yes. Then they will feel comfortable asking me. So, I mean, there are so many parents who I see complaining, "Mera bacha mujhse पूछता नहीं है मेरी तबीयत के बारे में." Did you instill that in the kid? You have to make them comfortable, because if they see you doing it, they will definitely reciprocate.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that, you know, we've kind of given it all away as well for today. We'll be preparing for tomorrow, only if we are going to wrap up this show today as well. So please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well This Morning.
On Twitter.
Well This Morning, but without a G.
Yeah, and Daily Motion YouTube.
It's Well This Morning on the PTV World channel, of course.
Exactly. And the fabulous repeat, ladies and gentlemen, will be at
5 past midnight.
Till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.